Listen Up, presented by Dempsey's and Sportsland. Ryan, on this Friday already, we have some actually very terrible news, Ryan. I actually woke up late today, very late, huh? But FUD to miss more time, and I saw a shout out to, I think it was one of our subscribers that commented and told us UConn's AZ FUD re-injured her right knee against Georgetown on Sunday, and no timetable was provided for her return. So Ryan, this is the last check-in against Butler, and here we go again. I told you before that, and you said it. I mean, you can't really see how it could be an easy slide if they only go with 7 players the rest of the way through. But hopefully, this is really gearing AZ FUD up for when March rolls around, because, like you said, they're definitely going to need her, and I strongly believe that. But what do you have against Butler?
Yeah, and there's also no news on whether Caroline or Ayana will be available for the game tomorrow against Butler. So hopefully, hopefully we don't have
Oh
just
boy.
7 players again. But like you said, we did get some news about AZ FUD, and it certainly wasn't the best, but no new news that we didn't already know about her re-injuring her knee. But it's just the biggest one is that there's no timeline or timetable for her to return. So do they need all 3 of those players, AZ, Caroline, Ayana, to beat Butler? Probably not. But moving forward closer to March Madness, and with that big game against South Carolina, they're definitely going to need everybody that they can get. Certainly AZ FUD. So hopefully she can return sooner rather than later. But they did score 103 with only 7 players. But, moving forward, it's definitely going to help to get everybody back healthy. But Butler tomorrow at 12 o'clock, pretty early game tomorrow. 7-2 Butler Bulldogs, only 2-8 in Big East play, second to last place. UConn won the first matchup pretty easily, 80-47. In that game, scoring was much led by Rachel McLemore for Butler, and no one else got into double-digit scoring. So they relied on their senior forward pretty much the whole season to do most of the scoring. Caroline Strand, Jessica Carruthers have been pretty consistent scorers for Butler so far this season, but realistically, I don't really think Butler has a chance to win this game. UConn is returning home to Gamble Pavilion. They've rolled through the Big East play so far, going perfect 9-0 so far. So still a lot of Big East opponents to play. Rest of the games are Big East opponents, except 2 against Tennessee and South Carolina. But if UConn can just replicate what they did Tuesday, which is going to be pretty hard to do, but they shouldn't really have a problem the rest of the season. But UConn, they just need to keep playing good defense, I think. Keep being aggressive on offense. And yet again, I'm saying over and over again, is to limit the turnovers. That's really the key. But they did pretty good with 7 players. But I think moving forward, definitely getting Caroline and Ayana back, and hopefully AZ at some point is definitely going to be a big boost.
Yeah, you're right about that. And I think that the UConn Huskies are actually trending, to me, with the exception of the game before the last one. Who did they play? You have to remind me because I don't have the schedule in front of me. Was it it was Georgetown, correct? Yeah,
Georgetown,
because
yeah.
that's it. So with the exception of that game, I'm not even gonna say the exception of that game, because they only allowed Georgetown to score 50 in that game. So I think what I told you a couple weeks ago, they're trending in the right direction because of the defense. Because of the defense. And again, I think if they can really hold it together, even if UConn struggles without AZ FUD, and which we haven't really seen yet, and I hope we don't, even if they struggle on offense without AZ FUD, if they can still hold their opponents, especially the higher scoring opponents, to 50 or less, I mean, that's something to be proud about. And we can only hope that that holds up against the elite teams, because we already know the elite teams, not to take anything away from these schools right here that we're doing the last check-ins for, but Ryan, that's the unfortunate reality as far as when we talk to UConn women's basketball. And correct me if I'm wrong, the elite part of the season does not come until probably around another month and a half.
Yeah, I mean, you're certainly right about that, and they still have a game with Marquette. The last time they played, Marquette gave them a run for their money. Still 2 games against Villanova as well, and Villanova is certainly a good team that can score a lot with Matty Seagrass and company. So, most of the Big East opponents, I don't think they'll have a problem with, but Marquette and Villanova are definitely ones to watch out for if they are still without AZ Fudd, and certainly Caroline and Ayana, and certainly the game against South Carolina. But yeah, I mean, I completely agree with you about their defense. If they can hold opponents to under 50 points, there's probably a pretty good chance that UConn's going to score over 50 points if they only do have 7 players. So yeah, I mean, like I said, if UConn can limit their turnovers on offense, it's going to enable them to get more chances, score more points, and definitely their defense, forcing turnovers on the other side, get in transition where they're best. I think that's going to be the key to success moving forward.
Yeah, so Ryan, the Butler Bulldogs, it looks like 7-12, 10th in the Big East. When you take a look at the schedule, I mean, they've had some good wins and some bad losses. We'll just put it that way. Now, the graduate student, Kelsey Taylor, it looks like to me, if you can contain her, hold her the 6'2" forward, Ryan. She's a senior out of Louisville, Kentucky. She's been putting on a show. But I think if you can just contain these bigger bodies inside the paint, I think that's where it all starts, because UConn has been doing a good job allowing teams to uh, really have no choice but to drive inside, because there's not a lot of teams, correct me if I'm wrong. I know I've been watching not the games, but the highlights, and you haven't even been able to catch all the games, but not a lot of 3-point attempts even made against the UConn Huskies. They do a very good job shutting that down.
Yeah, and for a lot of Big East teams, I think they try to shoot the 3 ball, and I think that's where they try to
Mm.
get it rolling and maybe get a couple lucky shots here and there. But UConn usually doesn't allow that. We saw them struggle with that earlier in the season, but I think they really tightened the defense up, going beyond the arc. So that's something that UConn did really improve as the season went on. So that's yeah, that was definitely a major part of their game that they corrected. But yeah, I mean, for the bigs inside for UConn, that's definitely where it's been all season long, with certainly Aaliyah and Dorka. Aubrey is amazing athlete, like I keep saying. She can drive the ball. And with Lou outside, despite not having AZ for who knows who knows how long now, but Lou is a very, very good scorer outside for UConn. And Nika Mule can also shoot sometimes as well. Definitely a terrific passer. So I think UConn will be able to hold on for a while, but the season is closing in on us quickly and getting to March Madness quickly. So we need to start getting a fully healthy roster, as we or certainly as healthy as we can get moving forward.
All right. How about a couple comments, Ryan, and then we will head on out of here with our prediction. Ryan, what do you think about this one? Richard Bueller goes, "Hi guys, I just want to thank you for your shows. I try to watch in the pre and post game different posts. You guys give good information on the team and games. Keep up the good work. I'm looking for the Huskies to go all the way. I know they are capable. This season, it just depends on who shows up. Luckily for the Huskies, it doesn't make that much difference if they bring their A game. Looking forward to the next victory." Yeah, that's he brings up a good point, because sometimes, and we'll even use, I'm not even going to say the name of the team. We even used the number one team this year in the country so far. We'll use them as an example. If you don't come out on your A game, if you sometimes if you overlook a team that's actually more fired up than you, and sometimes you have no clue, because a lot of that has to do with mindset in the locker room as you're putting your shoes on, as you're putting your jersey on, as you're getting dressed. I told you, man. I told you in the beginning of the season, mentally tough. So yeah, you got to watch it, because if you're UConn, yeah, you could come out ready, but again, you come out kind of slow, and that's really, you don't get a second chance in March.
No, you don't. It's one and done. And I think that's something that UConn's always done well over the years, certainly
Mm,
under Gino, is always
mentally
coming out
prepared.
ready.
Yep.
And prepared for every single
Mm.
team. So I think that's definitely something that UConn doesn't have to worry about. But it's hard to come out ready for some of these teams when you don't have a fully healthy roster. And I think going through so many lineups over the course of this season has certainly helped everybody kind of know their role on the team or what their role in the lineup is as we keep switching through all these different starting lineups and players coming off the bench. So I think UConn's they've been through pretty much all of it this season, so I think they'll be prepared for pretty much any obstacle that's standing in their way.
And time for one more. Jason D'Amico, winners accept responsibility for bad performances. Each Husky took the Georgetown game personally and came out like wild animals against Seton Hall to make up for it. And boy, did they. Wow. Peace, fellas.
Yeah, it was certainly a good showing, and I'm not sure what what happened in that Georgetown game because I really wasn't expecting that to be close. I don't really think a lot of people were, but they definitely did take it personally, and they took care of business against Seton Hall because I thought Seton Hall would put up more of a fight than that, but UConn was definitely on a different level in that game. And like I said, despite only having 7 players, it certainly looked like they had their whole roster healthy. So it's definitely a good sign to see.
Yeah, and actually, Ryan, I'm looking now. Butler is actually coming off of a loss. Looks like they lost to Providence. So, and then Creighton. So they haven't had a victory since January 11th. Quite a while. They'll be looking to turn that around against Connecticut. I'm like you. I don't think it's going to happen tomorrow. 12 o'clock prediction time. I have Ryan. I have the Huskies easily winning this one. I'm going to go ahead and say, let's go ahead and go with 85-50. 85-50. Yeah, I'm saying it. I think the defense really trends up. They keep on trending up, and they add to this winning streak. 85-50, and no more MVP on this side of town.
Well, it's hard to pick the MVP. It's hard to not pick Aaliyah Edwards or AZ when she's playing. But I'm gonna go 82-55 in this game. I agree with you. I don't think it's gonna be close at all. I think UConn comes out strong on defense. I hope they limit the turnovers. I would expect Nika to continue to take care of the ball and not make any silly passes, silly fouls. Yeah, I think UConn shows out at home in Gampel Pavilion. Yeah, I think it's another classic blowout.
I mean, Ryan, you look at the numbers, and I believe if I'm looking right, Butler has not put up over 60 points since December 11th. And that was
Yeah.
63 against number 21 Illinois. Ryan, they look like they are struggling terribly.
Yeah, it's been a struggle, and it was a really bad struggle last season. They've obviously turned it around a little bit. I think it's going to be a while until Butler has an over 500 season. But Butler, it seems like it's going to be another long season
Oh,
again.
excuse me. So they put up 66 against Providence. So that was over 60 points on the 18th, so just 2 nights ago. All right, Ryan. That will be it for now. And again, as you look at Austin Parkinson, Ryan, the head coach for Butler, um, yeah, he's got a tough task ahead of him, if you will. Ryan, I will not see you. Yeah, that's right. I said that. I will not see you tomorrow for the game recap. That should be very interesting. I know you're looking forward to that, but we will get right down on into it probably around 2 o'clock tomorrow. Phil and Ryan, listen up.